Hello, everybody. We're giving you a double dose today.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
Indeed. We're going to the Far East, the Orient, the mysterious land of New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're going to talk to you. We're going to talk to you today about G1 Climax Day 1. And should we tell the people a little bit about what the G1 Climax is?
The G1 Climax is essentially the Japanese, basically it's a combination of, if you're familiar with the Money in the Bank match and the King of the Ring tournament, you combine the two of them. So it's a match, or it's a tournament with a round robin stage, and you wrestle everybody in your block. You gain 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, no points if you lose. Whoever has the most points per block goes on to the finals. They usually do the semis and the finals on consecutive days. And then if you win the tournament, you get yourself a shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Championship of the World at Wrestle Kingdom that January.
So it's basically, if you're familiar with the TNA Impact Bound for Glory tournament, but done correctly.
Don't sully this with TNA.
But done correctly.
No.
There are 15-minute or 20-minute time limit. I can't remember
30.
which. Is it 30?
30 minutes, yeah. They get a full entire half hour.
Mm-hmm. So 30. If it's 30 minutes and we don't have a winner, that's where the draw occurs. So our participants this year are... Let's give it a quick rundown. A block: Yoshihashi, Yuji Nagata, Bad Luck Fale, Toge Makabe, Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Zack Sabre Jr., the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tetsuya Naito, and Kota Ibushi.
2.
And then in B block, it is Satoshi Kojima, Michael Elgin, Juice Robinson, Minoru Suzuki, Kenny Omega, Tama Tonga, I believe, is running it. Is correct?
Yes.
And then we have Evil, Sanada, Toru Yano, and Kazuchika Okada.
Hey.
So,
and they
B block I'm really looking forward to, because, I mean, you've got the rematch of the 6-star match there with Omega versus Okada 3.
They're going to wait until the final night of the round-robin portion to have that match. They've scheduled that way in advance.
Mm-hmm. You've got... Also, this year... there's probably has happened before, but this year there seems to be a lot of stable feuding.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got a lot of Chaos guys are going to face off with Chaos guys. Now, that's not necessarily new, because Chaos, of course, has been so large that kind of always happens. But this year, we've got...
This is the second year in a row that I have or will watch the G1, so I don't have a massive history as to what's going on here. But yeah, Chaos definitely went up against Chaos last year.
Mm-hmm. I remember Goto versus Yano.
There's also usually, and there's usually at least a small sprinkling of guys from other promotions. Like there's usually an ROH guy. There's usually last year, I believe they had a couple of people from Noah, if not more than a couple.
Genius of Kick.
Yeah, which led to that awesome 4v4 match on the final night. That was
also the singles match with Mike Elgin.
Yeah, oh yeah. So yeah, there's this year it seems it's exclusively New Japan guys. Mm-hmm. And you're right. They're doing a lot of Los Ingobernables are up against each other and
in both blocks, I do believe.
Yeah. So it's
and a couple of there's going to be some Bullet Club on Bullet Club violence. I think basically outside of Suzuki Gun, everyone's going up against someone within their own faction.
Seems to be
because there's only 2 Suzuki Gun entrants and they are in separate blocks.
Put them in a jar, shake it, see if they'll fight.
Well, I assume Minoru Suzuki will fight anyone.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think that would even be really all that tense. It'd be like, are the members of Suzuki Gun going to kill each other? Well, they do that anyways. But really look forward to it. So we're gonna talk about night 1 here real quick. Gonna go slightly chronological order. It's gonna be largely this was a good match. you should go watch it because they were. I would say they are all good matches. There were maybe some different levels of like whether I would recommend a rewatch or not, but
yeah.
But they were all good.
Yeah, we watched this the day after it happened. So I think we watched this happen on July 17th, and we watched it on the 18th, and it is now
about 2 weeks ago.
The July the 30th. So yeah, and it took me. I had to remove at least 9 of Mio Dread's fingernails to get him to do this. So you better appreciate.
Actually, all you had to do was convince me we didn't need to do Raw recaps. That was really it.
Pretty much. So that's 3 hours. That's 3 hours a week we can do to New Japan. There's. I don't think they're having straight up daily matches, but it's basically running between the 17th of July and August 13th is the final. So out of those dates, there are 7 days that they're broadcasting in English, and so we'll probably cover those. Mm-hmm. And
we'll probably just kind of give a giant recap at the end of the Japanese days.
Yeah, pretty much.
So night 1, we open up with Block B contestant Satoshi Kojima and Hiroshi Tenzai and Yushin Thunder Liger, aka Team Legend, versus Team Takuchi Japan of Michael Elgin, Juice Robinson, and David Finlay.
And 9 times out of 10, Liger's team loses, but they didn't in this case.
They won in this case.
By the way, spoilers.
Yep. And of course, David Finlay ate the pin because of the Takuchi Japan guys. He is not actually in the tournament. So that's kind of the thing, is they stick the guys who are not in the tournament in these matches to basically eat the pin.
Correct.
And that was Finlay's job. It was also possible that Tenzan or Yushin Thunder Liger, who are not in the tournament, would possibly beat the pin as well. I actually thought they would, but they gave Kojima the victory over Finlay.
Yeah, this is Liger's last year. I'm kind of conflicted because I really don't want to see him really wrestle anymore because it's pretty apparent that he's too old to really do what he used to do. And he hasn't really
mind a nostalgia match every once in a while. Just the quick pop, bring him back sort of thing. But yeah, it's time for him to move into a backstage capacity role on a full-time basis.
Yeah, he's too old to do what he used to do, and he hasn't changed his style into anything else to kind of give himself some longevity. Not that he needs it, because he's been wrestling since the 70s, I believe, so... he is like the legend of wrestling, pretty much. You can say what you want about anybody else, but Liger's been literally everywhere and done pretty much literally everything. I don't think he ever held a WWE title, but I think he's had everything else.
He even worked at NXT.
Yeah.
He did a match with Tyler Breeze, which was fantastic.
I believe that. It's good to see Liger not having to eat the pins, but it's been so traditional in the last couple of years to just see Liger eat pins or at least his team eats pins. This was kind of refreshing. I enjoyed it. I was genuinely taken by surprise because I just figured, while I enjoyed the match, I just figured, well, there goes another loss for Liger.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit weird because, of course, on the other side you have Finlay, who I think is a guy they do invest in, and I think they also invest in Michael Elgin and Juice Robinson. So
I like them for a boost.
Definitely made sense more for like the young Lion, the young Gaijin team to go over, but they did not. Which is, you know what, throw me a curveball every once in a while is perfectly fine.
Exactly. And New Japan does that so well. Like you really don't know what the outcome is going to be. Whereas with WWE, not only do you know, but you know a year ahead of time what the outcome's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. I enjoyed that. And then we had Suzuki-gun versus
Bullet Club!
El Desperado, Taichi, and Minoru Suzuki himself versus Omega, Chase, Omega, Owens, and Tonga.
It's a bit weird that they didn't have Tonga Loa in this match or with Tamatonga. Perhaps an injury that maybe isn't overly known?
That's possible. Maybe they're tired of him going into business for himself. I don't know. I do remember that this match started with Suzuki immediately Pearl Harboring Omega and running his ass all over the place, just beating the crap out of him for an extended period of time before the match got underway. And I don't remember a ton else about the match.
I would say Minoru Suzuki may legitimately have tried to kill Omega during parts of the match.
Oh, yeah. Because he went after him after the match, too, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so he just, this was an ass beating from pillar to post.
Oh, yeah. And, Omega got worked over by Suzuki, including the Tai Chi Bellhammer.
The follow-up to that is that in night 2, Omega and Suzuki will be going head-to-head, which we will be watching a little later.
Mm-hmm. And as soon as the participants in this matchup were announced, I'm like, Chase Owens is eating the pin. That's just all there is to it. And he did.
Yep. Oh, yeah. It's either going to be him or Tai Chi.
It was him. It's as low on the totem pole as Tai Chi is. He's higher than Chase Owens.
Yep.
He ate the God-style pile driver from Minoru Suzuki. So Minoru Suzuki put over pretty hard here, getting to beat up on Omega. Both putting over his psychoticness and his masochistic tendencies, but also the fact that he is a really good wrestler. Which I will say, Suzuki is a really good wrestler. I just wish he wasn't such a piece of shit human being.
That is correct.
Then we went on to Ingranable on Ingranable Violence.
Los Ingranables de Japón versus Los Ingranables de Japón.
As Evil tagged up with Hiromu Takahashi and their unofficial third member Daryl Takahashi.
Daryl Takahashi, OP.
Against Bushi and Sanada. This was a pretty good match. I mean, you would expect this. These four men know each other. Maybe not so much the Time Bomb, but Evil and Bushi and Sanada have been functioning as a trios team for so long that they know each other so well that they can do all kinds of stuff with one another.
Yeah, again, this was 2 weeks ago, so I don't remember any firm details, but I do remember really enjoying the match. Bushi and Sanada came out with new masks on. Sanada's got the really crazy Minotaur type thing happening. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it all. It was very good. And then I believe there was some friction at the end because how many of these guys are in Block B together?
Only 2. It's just Evil and Sanada. Bushi and Takahashi are not in the tournament. They're juniors.
Yeah,
Which it should be mentioned, it does not preclude you from being in the match, because technically Zack Sabre Jr. is a junior heavyweight, not a proper heavyweight. But it seems like if you compete primarily in the junior heavyweight division, they don't put you in the G1.
Yeah, just as a follow-up to the rundown of how this tournament works earlier, there's also, if you're completely unfamiliar with New Japan, there's an annual tournament called Best of the Super Juniors, and it's the same thing as this. Which
Takahashi and Bushi were in.
Exactly. So they were in that tournament, and then the winner of that tournament gets a shot at the Junior IWGP, or is it the Intercontinental?
I thought it was they get a shot at the Cruiserweight title. Or the junior heavyweight title.
The junior heavyweight, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. So my brain just did a flip. Yes, they were both in the tournament, and what's his nut? Hey, why is Okada in this tournament then?
I think it's just tradition that the champion kind of goes into the tournament to try to prove himself.
Okay.
Because otherwise you're kind of giving your champion nothing to really do for a long period of time. It's not that long. I mean, it's a month long, but still.
I guess, but I mean, what happens if the champ wins?
Well, you just don't book that.
I suppose that's the truth.
Well, I mean, you could also then end up doing some kind of other little thing to figure out who faces the champ at Wrestle Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
That just occurred to me. So, it's food for thought. I'd totally book it if I was Geto.
I was particularly impressed, though, by Evil and Takahashi's ability to work together. For two guys that I don't think have any particular history, I think they're actually... Takahashi has been traditionally a singles wrestler in Ingranables or just massive tag matches, 10-man. He's definitively the fifth guy in the group. And
Time bomb.
It was really interesting to see him and Evil work together, and I would dig them going for a tag team title or something. It would be, I think, very good. And also, Evil
Evil is
debuted a
7
submission
feet
move that he created just for the G1, which is pretty cool.
I don't remember that spot.
It was basically a crossface chicken wing with a twist.
Oh, fair enough.
He made Bushi tap out to it.
Woo! Yeah. So, speaking of Ghetto, the next match was Chaos versus Chaos, which was Toru Yano and Jado. I'll say that again. Toru Yano and Jado versus Kazuchika Okada and Ghetto. So you had incomplete players.
Yeah.
If anybody's not familiar, Jado and Ghetto are an infamous tag team known as the Complete Players, and they will cheat. They will cheat and win.
They are also respectively the second and fourth last real men.
Exactly. Who's the second? Or who's the third? Was that Kevin Kelly?
I think the thought was that
Cyrus?
no, I thought the thought that it was Don Callis was the third.
There you go. Cyrus is the third to last real man. And again, I don't remember a ton about the match, except for Yano was great as per usual. I just remember the match being very good and enjoyable.
It's a bit of a comedy match, which you're going to get because the Complete Players are good at doing comedy spots as well as kind of being dirty players. And, of course, Toru Yano is the master of comedy.
And Yano and Okada are going to have their match again, night 2. So they've done all these multi-person matches with all of the guys in B block. And then we follow that up with the tournament matches for A block to cap off the evening. Yep. And then I assume they do the same thing for the next night.
I would imagine so. They're kind of using this to kind of build up each of those matches.
So yeah,
not necessarily all of them, because I think, Kojima's either facing Juice or Elgin, but the other one is not facing anyone that was in that match.
Yeah.
Similarly, with the Suzuki Gun matchup, you have Tama Tonga in there, who wasn't facing anyone. Night 2.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really all I remember about that match. If there's anything else you want to throw in there about that match.
Jado and Yano won. That's about it, really.
It's correct, yes. So the first tournament match of the evening was Yoshihashi versus Yuji Nagata, with Yoshi Hash Browns himself going over. Again,
which I figured he had to go over, because I feel like this is kind of the year of Yoshihashi to a degree. He's never had a New Japan title. And when I say the year of, I don't mean he's going to win the G1 Climax or anything, but I mean, I think he's in for a level of push that he's not had before. Maybe a never open weight title, or maybe Intercontinental, maybe?
Perhaps. I could see him winning Intercontinental, especially if the arm problem persists with your boy Tanahashi. So there is that. Again, I don't remember really much about this match, other than Yoshi Hash Browns came down to the ring with the Big Pimp Scepter, and his hair was a little less crazy than normal, and it was an okay match.
Considering how old Nagata is, this was pretty damn good.
Yeah, but if I was to point to one match on the entire card that wasn't as good as the rest, it's either the opening match or this match. Everything else was, I think, better than this one.
I think it was always going to be better. Yoshihashi likes to work at a pretty high pace for a heavyweight, mostly because I don't even know if he is a heavyweight, to be honest.
He weighs at least 3 pounds.
And Nagata is, an old guy. He's going to have a hard time keeping that pace. And that means you have a contrasting style thing, which means they got to figure out some kind of medium ground to work with. And I think they did a good job with it. I don't think this could have been better, in a nutshell. Yeah,
I would not disagree. It just wasn't as good as I'm used to seeing, especially for opening night of tournament style. But they did a good job on commentary. I remember them saying, listen, you can't win the whole tournament. There's apparently a traditional saying, you can't win the G1 on the first night, but you can sure damn lose it on the first night if you fuck yourself up.
Exactly.
Paraphrasing.
This was a pretty hard fought match, actually. So that gave it pretty good.
They all pretty much were. So yeah, that one, not really much to say other than pretty good. Probably go watch it.
And then in the why the fuck did I get this match, and what I mean by that is that both men should have been like, shit, why did we get this? Bad Luck Fale versus Togi Makabe. And
versus the underboss.
This was the worst technical match on the night, but it makes up with it by being stiff.
Yeah, this was stiff as fuck, and the crowd was with him the entire way. It was really good. I enjoyed it just because this was like the best big man match that I'd seen probably all year. So I enjoyed it.
No, I enjoyed it spectacularly, but there was some sloppiness, there was some botches, so like on a technical level, can't really give it a great seal of approval. But the storytelling, excellent work. The intensity, great work. The stiffness, I believe these two wanted to kill each other.
Yeah.
You've done it, that's fine. And Bad Luck Fale taking the win.
Yeah, it was, I don't remember who threw the first real stiff shot, but it was probably Makabe.
It was Makabe.
And it was just downhill from there. Like, okay, receipt. Well, here's a receipt for your receipt. Well, sir, I say unto thee, further receiptage. And, Bad Luck, I can't remember what the whole combo was, but Bad Luck hit some kind of big-ass move, then the grenade, and then something like a power bomb or something, or maybe power bomb into the grenade, and then some other big move. But
it was more that he caught Makabe going for the King Kong knee drop.
Oh, yeah.
And then hit him with the grenade, and that was the ending sequence.
That looked a little sloppy, but looking back on it, it was kind of executed perfectly for what it was. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to describe. The first time you see it at first glance, you're like, "That's fucked up. That was a botch."
I think to a degree it is a botch, but I don't know if you can do it in a relatively safe manner any faster than they did it.
No, but there's no other way you can execute that. Like, if you want Fale to intercept him while he's going for that, he has to be too far away. So it looks like Makabe just fucked it up. Like, it looks like Makabe botched it. But he didn't. He executed it perfectly so that Fale could do his stuff. So it wasn't a botch, but it looked like a botch.
Yeah, it just looks like a botch, is all, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to describe, and it was a little off-putting at first, but I went back and watched the sequence one more time, and I was like, oh, okay, I can see how it wouldn't work any other way. All right.
Then we had Hiroki Goto versus Tomohiro Ishii. I was a little disappointed with this match, but I think that's because I am a massive mark for both of these guys, and I was expecting... I probably had too high of expectations for it.
I guess. Also, Ishii had that fan-fucking-tastic match against Omega in the G1 special for the USA.
As well as his match with Naito.
Exactly. Ishii's having himself a year, and I just want to see more Ishii all the time. Preferably paired with Yano, but that's just me. I'm less of a fan of Goto. I don't have a problem with him. I just don't have any real... Like, I need an in. I need a window. I need something I can climb in there and go, aha, that's why I should cheer for Goto. I know that...
I would say if you go back about 3 years and watch his series of matches with Shibata, you will probably grasp what I'm getting at.
Fair enough. But I don't have that. I know that his gimmick is that he's the guy who he almost gets there. He gets to the mountaintop and then falls over. He's the guy that just can't quite get the job, like the big job done. He's sort of the anti-John Cena of match finishes. But he's over as fuck, and he's really good in the goddamn good in the ring. It's just that I don't have an emotional attachment. So I remember, again, thinking this match was damn fucking good, and that's really all I had to say about it.
There's some blood in this match, too, which is
yeah,
good.
There was some stiffness.
Goto got busted open.
I do remember some stiffness.
And a lot of variety of moves, which I liked, actually, because Ishii sometimes gets trapped in kind of like these sort of repeated loop deals. Like, he has like things he's going to do like 7 times in the match. Even like in the Omega match this happened, but in this one they kept it real fresh. It wasn't, like I said, it didn't meet what I wanted from the match, but it probably met everyone else's desire, so it's a win.
You were saying that you're hoping for like the year of Yoshihashi. This is already the year of Ishii.
Yes.
I mean, Yoshi-Hashi's going to have to work damn hard to try and pick it up in the last half of the year.
Well, for me, it's just that Yoshi-Hashi has literally never held a belt. And I think that's what I mean, is that this is the year where Hashi finally gets himself a belt. Because we're talking about a guy who's in his mid-30s now. Might be early 30s. It might be like, he's somewhere in like the 32 to 35 range. And
he's 53.
It's definitely not 53. But like, he's 32 to 35, never has held a belt. It was kind of like when I looked it up when he got the ROH title shot against Adam Cole, and the famous Yoshi-Hashi baby came into play.
Yoshi-Hashi is 35 years old.
You knew that Yoshi-Hashi was not winning that match. You know, you always are going to doubt that a New Japan guy is going to win the ROH title. But it's never going to be a guy that New Japan hasn't had the confidence to put a belt on ever.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the thing with Yoshi-Hashi's. I feel like at 35 years old, he's over enough, because he's very over, and a very good worker. He's got to get a title this year at some point.
Yeah. Looking at his Wikipedia page, he was last year ranked 314 out of top 500 singles wrestlers by PWI. So, yeah, he should probably be pushed a bit. I'm not looking at any I'm just looking at results. I'm not looking at results. I'm deliberately looking away from the screen as I scroll up between his vital stats and his title stats. I mean, I wouldn't mind chugging a whole beer, but I'm not going out like that. And by the way, if you don't know the rules for the NJPW drinking, I will have Mio post them in the comment section or in the info section of the video.
Will do.
I think Yoshi-Hashi's gonna have to work really damn hard because it's already the year of Ishii, and he's just getting better and better and better.
True enough. I love me some Ishii. You know this.
Then
we had what is a tradition on night one of the G1 Climax, in my opinion, is that some big name is going to lose to an up-and-comer.
Yeah.
And I called it kind of when I looked at the matches, because there were really only two options for that. Which the other one would have been the matches coming up next. But Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi. And I figured this was going to happen because I think they're going to put over Sabre Jr. fairly large in this tournament.
Yeah, well, they have to, otherwise WWE is going to snap them up.
I'm not sure if they're that interested in Sabre Jr. I think it's Ospreay more that they're in for.
Oh yeah, they totally want Ospreay because he's flashy and wowy. But I mean, there's no shortage of interest in Sabre Jr. They'll take him for any amount of money, pretty much. But if they push him in New Japan and show him that he's valued there, then I mean, I would not be surprised terribly to see Zack Sabre Jr. in the finals. They're definitely not going to get him to win, but in the finals.
I'm just thinking. I'm looking at the rest of the guys in the block. Is there someone that I think... Block A, I think, is very open because Block B is the much more stacked one, in my opinion. Because, I mean, you got Okada and Omega in there, but you also have, in addition to that, you have Minoru Suzuki in there. You have Evil and Sonata, if you're going to go with someone from Ingarnables that's not Naito. You've got... Juice Robinson, who you've got a little bit of steam behind, and Michael Elgin in there. So, A block does seem like the lesser block. My thought is that Kota Ibushi will win it, but...
That's very possible. Zack Sabre Jr. did an excellent job in this They did an excellent job of storytelling, and they did an excellent job... Sabre Jr. himself did an excellent job of mixing up submission holds. So if anybody's not paying attention, Tanahashi has had probably a minor bicep injury for the last 4 months or something like that. They say it's a torn bicep. I don't know if that's true.
The bandaging would suggest that it's more minor than a torn bicep.
Yeah. So Sabre Jr. basically stretched the shit out of his shoulders and arms all night, using a wide variety of craziness, chain wrestling, and octopus-type holds. And eventually just ripping off all of the tensor bandages and all of the bindings and whatnot, and just going after, and eventually used a pretty awesome looking wrist lock to get the win.
Yeah.
So
Zack Sabre Jr. is very good at stretching you and working submission holds and stuff. He's got a very good build for it. He's very lanky. He is kind of like an octopus in a lot of ways, actually. So kind of fitting that he uses the octopus hold. But they did everything they could to keep Tanahashi from losing too much steam off of this, because I mean, you had the Desperado distraction earlier in the match. Desperado is a member of Suzuki Gun. We've talked about him before, but just to kind of refresh. Desperado. But he came out and distracted Tanahashi while he was going for a high fly flow, and that allowed Sabre to take control. And Sabre, like, the entire crowd was almost like telling Tanahashi that it was okay to quit at one point, and he still wouldn't. And like Sabre Jr. just said, "All right, fuck it, I'm taking the whip home," and wrenched the shit out of it.
Yeah, I do remember that Tanahashi, like, the ref asked him, "Do you quit?" And Tanahashi said, "Yes, yes, yes," and the ref didn't react. Like, it was almost like the ref couldn't believe it was happening. He said, "Yes, I quit," and started, like, I think he was tapping with his foot or something, or...
Yeah, his foot was tapping.
But because Sabre Jr. had both of his arms and hands, and he had to tell the ref, 2-3 times before the ref was like, oh, okay, and then finally rang the bell.
Because Tanahashi is, of course, Japan's John Cena. And to have him tap out, it's a big statement of what they're going to do with Sabre Jr., I think.
Yeah, I'd say that is correct. And then we had the main event of the evening, Tetsuya Goodbye and Good Naito versus Kota, Tiger Mask W, Ibushi. Goddamn, this was a fucking awesome match.
It was a fucking awesome match, but I am going to put it as this is my New Japan match of all New Japan matches of the night, which is pretty quintessential. There were a couple of this really should have been a finish to a match moments.
Yeah, there was, and I remember watching it and being enthralled, and then there's a spot near the end where, was it like the middle rope tombstone, or was it a top rope tombstone?
Top rope tombstone, yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't a tombstone, it was just a regular ass pile driver, that's what it was.
Yeah, regular ass pile driver.
And Ibushi let go of Naito and like propped himself, like landed on his hands and ass rather than hold up Naito. I'm like, holy shit! There's gonna be some heat backstage for that one.
I mean, Naito had to hit 2 Destinos to finish the match. Like, that is insane. Naito also hit a reverse run off the top rope. It was second rope. Reading the little thing I got up here.
Ooh.
Pile driver. Notes? I have notes, yes. And
Nerd.
I also had like the German suplex spot over the ropes was fucking insane.
That was awesome.
So
Naito's outside on the apron, and Ibushi gets up and stands on the second rope. Gut wrench, deadlift, German into the ring. Fan-goddamn-tastic.
Like, this felt like... The thing is this is their first match of the B block.
Yeah.
And I don't know if these two men can top that. So, going with my somewhat anti-New Japan booking, I would have saved this for later on in the B block. Like, this should have been... this should have been sort of Naito Omega from last year, where it's Omega needs to win to go through to the finals. Naito just needs... I think Naito just needed a draw last year, correct?
He just needed not to lose. He was 2 points up.
That does mean he needs a draw.
Yeah.
Because your options are win, lose, or draw. So
yeah, he just needed not to get pinned or submitted, and then he would have won regardless. So
this would have been the match I would put in that kind of spot. Where
that would have worked, but there was a lot of media beforehand, and Naito was quoted as saying that Ibushi would go winless through the tournament. That's what he thought. So you can't really do that.
I get that, but then I would have. I don't know. I wouldn't have busted out all of the stops then.
Well, yes, but also you have to make sure, like, Ibushi has to make sure that people are dead set interested on him for the rest of the tournament, and I kind of am now.
But I think you can do that with like either the pile driver or the German suplex spot. You don't have to do those two spots. Eat the reverse Rana, eat 2 Destinos, and I think did he eat 3? He might have eaten 3 Destinos because I think there was a failed one like midway through the match and then 2 at the end.
There was one that he blocked. He blocked a Destino, and he put it into a different move. Like, I remember being very impressed at the time, but I don't remember exactly what the move was. He basically countered the Destino into something else. I think it was a gutbuster.
I'm just saying, I think you could have had a little less, still got the job across that we would have been really interested in Ibushi. And would have made Naito look strong, too.
That's very true, but other than the pile driver not being the finish, I don't really have any issues with this match. But you are correct. The pile driver not being the finish definitely detracted. I thought it was going to be a 5-star match up until that wasn't the finish, and then I felt let down. Because the Destino is cool and all, but it's really not.
Like, if you're going to give me a second rope pile driver as a false finish, I need something I haven't seen.
It's not so much that I've seen it before. I'm just not convinced it's a real match ending like that finisher. Like the Rainmaker, I'm sure you could really crush somebody with that one hitter quitter, go home. But the Destino's just a jacked up sliced bread, standing sliced bread. It's not. It's cool, but it's not that cool.
It has at least been sold as a really dangerous move, though. Like this might have been the first time I think it's been kicked outside of maybe like Okada or something.
I think Omega kicked out of a couple.
Maybe Omega.
I don't know. It just seems like it might be the Japanese Styles Clash where most people can kick out of it, unless of course it's booked not to be kicked out of it.
Yeah, Styles Clash largely sucks.
It's cool.
I would honestly be happy never seeing the Styles Clash. We saw Styles Clash actually at Lucha Underground, surprisingly enough.
We did.
PJ Black did it. But
kicked out of.
Yeah, but that is like the Styles Clash to me is like that's kind of that's my problem. And I've done this rant before. But if you're going to have a highly theatrical move that it always gets kicked out of, I don't understand the point of it.
Yeah, I like it. Actually, I like it when he does like the top rope Styles Clash. That fucking all looks
Super Styles Clash, sure, but like the regular Styles Clash, it's been kicked out of so many times that I'm like, all right. So it's like AJ. Like let's put this. This is a real fight, and I'm doing an interview with AJ Styles, for example. I'd be like, AJ, you go for this highly unsuccessful, like low percentage move repetitively, and it looks cool. It honestly looks fantastically cool. But it gets blocked a lot. And when you do hit it, I think your finishing rate is maybe like 20%.
Yeah.
What is your justification for continuing to use this as part of your arsenal?
Exactly.
And the Destino would be the same if it didn't have a better finish rate. But it does have a good finish rate, though. Yeah,
it just looks like a sliced bread. Where is it? Sliced bread number 2? I can't remember.
I guess you could call it sliced bread 3.
Yeah, it's a standing sliced bread. How's that? But yeah, the fact that if he would have hit the Destino, then got up and done the Destino like right away again without doing the cover between them, I would have been more sold on it. Like fuck you, kid, and fuck you.
Yeah, it would have sold the distaste he has for Ibushi much more.
Exactly, but he went for it. It was okay. He went for a pin, didn't get it. And he's like, oh, well, here we go again. I think the finish is what held it back from being a 5-star match. And I did look on Top Rated Wrestling, and it is rated 4.75. So
4 3/4.
Yeah, I think that's what held it back from being a 5-star. Other than that,
yep.
Fucking great match.
Agree. It was a fantastic match. To just kind of go through the Ibushi heat with Naito. It's basically that in character, Naito does not believe that Ibushi belongs in the tournament because he's basically a part-timer. He thinks... I'm not sure who he thinks should have that spot. I don't think he's voiced that. But he wants... He's not in favor of guys who are not New Japan full-timers coming in and kind of diluting the pool despite Ibushi's obvious talent.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got to be a heel.
Truth.
So, that's pretty good. Like I said, I think last year's field was better. I'm just going to pull up last year's field.
I think last year, I think you're right, but I think it's because of the diversity of different federations.
Absolutely. If you're going to do just New Japan, there's no one missing that I'd want to see in this. Obviously. Like last year, let's see here, we had Block A was Goto, Okada, Tanahashi, Bad Luck Fale, Marufuji, Makabe, Tamatanga, Sonata, Ishii, Tenzan. Block B was Omega, Naito, Nakajima, Yanu, Elgin, Shibata, Evil, Hanma, Nagata, and Yoshihashi. So I guess actually most of the people are there. It's really just Genius the Kick that's missing. And I'm a bit of a Marufuji mark, in fairness.
Yeah.
And of course, Block B, my boy was there. Katsuyori Shibata.
Whoa. Now he's got a soft head.
Yeah, I hope to see Shibata wrestle again, but to be clear, it's only if he can do it safely.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see Shibata work his old style if it's going to kill him. I want to see if he works his old style. I want it to be somehow safe, or I want it to be something like Bret Hart's return in WWE for a while, where they kind of just. It was more of a nostalgia pop. He didn't really wrestle. He just gave it a couple of spots.
You know what I want to see? Fantasy Booking Warfare time. Wrestling Japan versus Taguchi Japan. Managed by The Wrestler.
I'm down with that. Shibata, the manager, would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, and he could be. You could sell him as a legit sports manager, not just like a pro wrestling heel manager or whatever. Like this is a guy who could put a team, a sports team of whatever description together, and train them, and then instruct them in their air quotes fight or match or whatever you want to call it.
Greg Jackson
could be. Yeah, he could be the Greg Jackson. He could be the Hume or the.
I'm trying to think of one that's actually was a former big deal as a fighter that would
Miletich?
really be. Yeah, Miletich, I guess, would be the closest.
He could be Miletich. Hume was a damn good fighter. He just didn't fight a whole lot, or fought before people were really paying attention.
His record also wasn't all that great. He is a little bit. Like, if we're going, Miletich would be your best one, or Randy Couture from the Extreme Couture days.
Yeah, well, that's because everybody greased against Hume, so, I mean, there you are.
That's not untrue. There's a lot of cheating going back in the day.
So, yeah, so that kind of wraps up day one. We're going to move on to day two. I have the lineup. We'll open up with Kawato and Ibushi versus Desperado and Sabre Jr.,
should be pretty good.
Tiger Mask and Nagata and Makabe versus Geto, Ishii, and Goto. Geto and Goto. All right.
That's good.
And we have Taguchi Japan of Finlay and Tanahashi versus Bullet Club of Chase Owens and Bad Luck Fale. Colin Chase Owens for the pin.
I don't know about that because, of course, you got the Tanahashi storyline with the arm. Is that perhaps how they're going to get him out of the tournament?
Yeah, that would be an interesting one. We were actually discussing that a week or so ago. What if they swerve everybody by pulling Tanahashi out of the tournament, or who would they replace him with? Leave your suggestions down below because we don't know. That probably isn't happening. That'll probably be the story of the tournament. Last year's story of the tournament was Goto, and he's the guy that can't quite get to the top of the mountain, and is he going to finally get there this year?
I'm going to pull up New Japan's roster and see if there's maybe... No, just like the list. Just like the list. Not looking at profiles.
I don't believe you. Anyway,
I'm just looking to see if there's maybe a guy who really kinda...
The final non-tournament match will be Jado and Yoshi Hash Browns versus Bushi and Naito. And the Block B tournament matches will be Kojima versus The Juice, Elgin versus Tonga, Sonata versus Evil, Okada versus the YTR, Yano Toru, which is going to be great. And your main event of the evening will be Kenneth Omega Jr. versus Minoru Suzuki Jr. Neither of which are actually juniors.
No. Not to our knowledge anyways. It's not really anyone that really stands out as not being in the tournament, except for maybe Tenzon.
Yeah, but he's old.
Yeah, he's old. I don't necessarily want to see him in there, but you could definitely do an injury angle with Tanahashi and bring him in. Yeah, I mean, you could go with like Davey Boy Smith Jr. or something, which I'd be perfectly fine with.
Killer
or Beretta.
True, although he just was, designated as going up to heavyweight, so a little early for that.
Damn, Beretta's last name is cool.
His what?
His real last name is pretty awesome.
What's that?
It's Marasculio.
Nice.
His first name is Greg.
That's not too bad.
Well, you could. Oh, wow. I mean, there is an obvious option that I did not think of.
Brock Lesnar.
And we were talking about why this guy wasn't in the tournament. Cody.
Yeah, that's true.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I think he's just too transient to really be pinned down for a half a month of tournament or most of a month of tournament.
Well, they could do that as a late replacement, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, right, because we were talking about that. So we were thinking maybe they'd substitute Cody in if Tanahashi could continue. But yeah, that's pretty much all the news that is news, and we're moving on to night 2.
Indeed. So join us for night 2 when we upload that. And we're going to watch that tonight. And depending on when it ends, we'll probably do the podcast. I do have some roommates that have been complaining about the lateness of some of the podcasts.
Well, maybe
so it may have to be recorded tomorrow, but we'll see.
Maybe they should just kill themselves. No, I'm just kidding. Only kidding.
I need their money.
Well, maybe they should just kill themselves and then have their corpses procure money.
I'll sell them for scientific research.
There you go.
So, yep, that's all for this one. And hopefully night 2 is as good, if not better, than night 1.
Indeed.
And if you're not watching the G1 Climax tournament, definitely recommend it. If you've never watched New Japan before, it's a hell of a way to introduce yourself to the style of wrestling and most of the characters that you're going to get used to. And the commentary team of Kevin Kelly and Don Callis, a.k.a. Cyrus the Virus, do a fantastic job.
Correct.
And in fact, Don Callis will, at various points, claim to be Chris Jericho. So just get ready for that.
Also correct.
That was my favorite Don Callis moment in New Japan. Just to finish off with a little story, was the Kenny Omega's about to. He was winning something. It wasn't the U.S. title tournament, but it was the Okada match. And it's in the middle of the match. Like Kevin Kelly is just he's like, I'm planning all the celebration parties and stuff. Are you telling people you're Chris Jericho? Or are you telling people that Chris Jericho is interested? What are you talking about? I'm telling people that I am Chris Jericho. So the Winnipeg Mafia lives long and strong in New Japan right now.
Excellent.
So again, join us for night 2 and get the hell off of Byron's lawn.
Also correct.